Hi, it's Wendy. In this video, I will show you a short clip of our local beach where I found my color inspiration for this mandala. Then you will see me create a color swatch sheet of these colors. Then I'll show you how to draw this seed of life mandala with a compass, which you are seeing right here. Then I'll paint it and I'll add colored pencil and some glitter, giving you tips on how to create a luminous mandala. I had so much fun doing this art project, and I hope you will try it as well. Now enjoy a minute at the beach. Just look at the beautiful colors of these blues and then these tans. Of course, I'm always inspired by my dog. This is Dixie. She's a 12-year-old Labrador retriever. She just loves the beach, and of course she loves the water too. And it's just so much fun to go down there and to experience nature, and then to bring a little bit of that home with me and color match all of these and be able to use those colors in my artwork, which personalizes the colors to me now. Instead of it just being like an orange or a blue in my palette, now it's the blue of the ocean that I saw at Pleasure Point Beach. So there we go. That's my day at the beach all swatched up. this is the seed of life. And this is a really beautiful geometric pattern to draw and to use in your watercolor paintings. I've used it a lot, and I have fun every single time I use this pattern. And so I'm going to show you how to draw this. It's not as hard as you would think. So the first thing I do is I start with a 12 by 12 sheet of cold press watercolor paper, because I find it's the perfect size for me to work with. And I will start by measuring my paper to get the exact center. So if it's 12 inches, half of it would be 6, and I make a little dot at the top and a little dot at the bottom. And then I draw a very light line between those two dots, turn the paper, do the same thing again, make a 6-inch dot and a 6-inch dot, connect those two lines, only I don't draw the whole line, I just cross through the center, and I'm going to turn it back to the starting position here. And so I have this cross right here through the center that lets me know where the center of my paper is. And that is right where I am going to start. And I'm going to draw this center circle right here. So here's the flower of life petals. I'm going to draw this circle around the petals. And that's how you start. You start with a circle. And this circle I'm drawing is 2.5 inches radius. And I've decided that's the right size that fits my paper, so I can measure that out on my ruler. I can go to 2.5 inches, open my compass to that. And I'm using, usually I draw with this compass, which I love. I'm using this little compass so that the lead is darker. It's a navy blue Prismacolor pencil. That way you can see better my lines. But I wouldn't use a colored pencil to do this normally. So you're going to push the sharp end into the dot in the center, and then you'll just hold your compass and you will draw. And when you use one of these kind of compasses, you've got to be pretty careful. There we go. So there's my starting circle. Now, because I drew a little dot up here when I initially was finding half of the sheet, and I drew this line all the way through, I can see that this line connects with my outer circle right there. And that's going to be my starting point to create the first arc. So I'm going to put the sharp end. I didn't change the size. I'm still working with 2.5 inches because I want to make 6 circles just like this, but around the edge. So I'm going to put the point in, and I'm going to draw the next circle. And did you see how it went right through the center as well? So now you pick it up. Here's the next crossing point where this arc crosses the original circle. So I put the point there. And I do it again. Carefully. Pick it up, go to the next one. Do it again. Until I get myself all the way around. Okay, we've got the circle all drawn up with the Seed of Life pattern. I have all of my color swatches here to pick from and my inspiration. So I think what I'm going to do is I like to paint generally wet on wet. So I'm going to go in here and start with these petals. All right, so let's start with the yellow. And I'm going to start by tracing the petals like this. I like to start by tracing the petals, and then I bring the color in towards the center, And the reason why I do that is because I like to leave part of the center always lighter than the outer edge. It gives it a lot of dimension when you do that. So I laid some color down. Now I'm going back in with just water, and I'm going to sort of blend that around. Bring some of it in. So did you see that petal is pretty much done? I'm sort of blending the water around the edge like that. So I think what I'll do now is add in some of this complementary color. So I have this color, which was my doggie's fur, and then there's a little bit of red highlight in her fur, and I'm going to add that into this flower, and I'm going to do it at the tips. So I'm going to get it on my brush, and this hasn't dried yet, so I'm just going to kind of drop it in at the tip. And I think I'm going to do these outer shapes in the sand color. So I've got my color mixed up, and I'm painting this this beach color right here. This is the color I'm going for, lighter and darker shades of it. So let's see what happens when we drop it in. And just like before, I'm tracing the edge. Just like that. Going back in with some water. And I worked with it pretty, pretty dark, right? And then the water will blend it. That way my edges stay darker. Just got a little bit more water. Going back into those edges. And can you see what I'm doing? I'm kind of tracing a circle like that. And if you leave this circle at the middle lighter, can you already see it looks like it's kind of got dimension to it? So I just sort of drew a circle right here, and then I'm blending all around it. Leave that center circle lighter. So let's do this one over here. So I've made some decisions on the colors I'm going to use. I've decided on this section here, I'm going to use the sky blue. And then on the outer edge, I'm going to do some alternating of the other blues. And I'm going to work these sort of purple colors into this outside rim. So that's kind of the plan for it. So let's get on to getting that sky blue in here. So I've got my space wet, and then I'm going to go in to that sky blue color. And just like I did with the others, I'm going to trace the outline with blue. A little goes a long way, just like that. And get a little bit darker towards the center and lighter towards the outside. And so that's all I'm going to do with the blue. And now I'm just adding water, and I'm just sort of, like I did with the other ones, moving it around to get it where I want it. Drop a little bit more in. I want it to be darker towards the center, and then kind of move out. And I'm kind of just putting like little drops of color. It's on my brush here. Now go back in with water and blend it around. So you can get that nice ombre fade. And take a look at what I did. And I think I might want a little bit more blue in the corners. So I'm just going to drop a little bit more in. Just like that. And so I'm going to go around and I'll finish all of these just like I did that one. So I'm going to go in and paint these outside little arc shapes with two of my beach water blues. And I'm going to use the Prussian blue plus the lunar blue with a dab of turquoise. And I'm also going to use the Prussian blue with the lunar blue and a dab of kyanite. And I have those two colors in my palette right here, and I've already wetted the spaces. And so let's get going on this. And so this one up here, I'm going to do just like I did all the other ones. I start with the outline. So what I'm going to do now is paint the rest of these, and I'll show you what that looks like when I come back. And I'll be painting these little sort of triangle shapes, and those are going to be in this green color. So I'll see you in a minute. All right, so I have painted all the blue little bubbles around the edge, and I really love it. I think it looks great. And I've even started with these sort of little triangle shapes, dropping in the this green color that I sort of see in this part of the wave. So that's Prussian blue and serpentine green. And so I've dropped that around the edges, and I think it really adds a little punch. I can't wait to put the sort of purple, this sort of amethyst purple sand color around the edge. I think that's really going to be neat. So I'm going to show you how I did these. And let's see, now I've got a number 2 brush. I've actually used 3 brushes on this one. I used a 6 to wet the big spaces, and then I worked with a 3 on all of this stuff in here, and I've been working with a 2 on these outer pieces. Okay, and then I'm going to go into this green, and I'm dropping it right at the tip. Can you see it bleeding? I'm going to drop it right at the tip. Maybe you can see that. Do you see the water pulling the paint? You want to let the water do some of the work for you. So I will dab like this. I'm kind of just dabbing. I'm going to rinse my brush. And I'm just going back in with a clean brush, and I'm just sort of teasing that green a little bit towards the edges. I really don't want to do too much because I want to leave this white space, because once the purple goes against that, it'll define this space and you'll really see sort of the dimension pop. And so that's a really big part of watercolor, is leaving white space. Let's get rid of any hard edges. All right, that one's done. So now I'm going to go and let these 2 pieces dry. Everything else is already dry. And then I will paint the last part. Okay, the final piece is to paint this outside ring with this sand color that looks really mauvish and sort of purple. And it's this color here and a little bit of this right here. This is the sand color, so I'm kind of incorporating both of these to represent this color and then the color that's down here in the surf. And I've wet the ring, I had to kind of go around 3 times to get it wet, and I got to work fast before it dries. I've already mixed my color here, and I'm going to lay it on the outside edge. And I'm just going to let it sort of bleed inward. So after this dries, I'll hit it with a little bit of colored pencil, and then we'll be finished. Hi, this is Wendy Nolan. I hope you enjoyed the video, and thank you so much for watching.